today. Om Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimatananda Tirtha Bhagavad Padacharyobhyo Namo Namaha Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Stititolayan Niyati Prataya Jnana Prataya Vibhuda Sura Saukya Dukkha Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Mati Prabhudan Vadan Nirasya Kritavan Bhavitatvavadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipatakam Tam Ananda Tirthamunivayam Namami Pujyaya Raghavendraya Satya Dharmarataya Cha Pajatam Kalpavrakshaya Namatam Kamadhenuve Kathopanishad Shanti Pataha Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahaihi Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishvidavahaihi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome friends for this wonderful Kathopanishad once again. And as we are going about, I think we will have to see a couple of things, before the Upanishad itself. In fact, we were discussing about the Bhashyas of the Upanishad. How these Upanishad Bhashyas have been taken to a level where they are able to be, we are able to understand that, because Upanishad, the entire, the verses, as well as, the way it has been composed, it is all extempore. And it is based on the highest thought that has come about at that point of time based on darshanas. So when we have taken that thought process as it is, when we are talking about the highest level of the Upanishad, the language will not be same as we will be able to understand in a common language. That's why, the Upanishad Bhashyas are like, you can compare it to something like a Shakespearean English. The Shakespearean English will not be same as what we are talking. It was just a pre-Victorian English. It's not even a Victorian English. It is a pre-Victorian English where they are able to express in a different way. And that is how, because that is the way people could understand at that point of time. The language was getting developed. Given our own languages, they all have gone through the process of development. The Upanishad, why it is going through it is, it has got, the variety of ways of interpretation. The interpretation depends upon, each context in which it has been done. That is why when the Upanishad has been taken into, and all the great acharyas, when they have to write a bhashyas, all the great acharyas, let us remind ourselves, they have written the bhashyas on three important things in the Sanatana Dharma. We have got hundreds of scriptures, but the three important scriptures on which they have done it, one is Brahma Sutra Bhashyam. Brahma Sutra is the Bhadrayana, the Krishna Dvaipayana, who has given us the aphorisms. Aphorisms is like, the couplets. They are the one to enable to understand the entire purport and meaning of the Vedas. Without going through Brahma Sutras, to understand the Vedas may be a human task, because the Vedas, they are following a language. And they are giving every word, because it gives rise to, as we have earlier said, minimum three meanings. Minimum three meanings. It could be more. I think in on one such occasion, we will also talk about an acharya about whom, we will be discussing a bit detail now. So when three meanings are there and the minimum three meanings are there, everyone will have to find an answer. They will have to get an answer. The Vedas were able to give the answer. This is exactly the question when it is asked, why you have got the same scripture, you got Brahma Sutra, you got Bhagavad-Gita, and as well as you got the Upanishad, on which all acharyas have given their bhashyas interpreted, and they have also given their respective philosophy based on all these three. How the same source can give three different type of philosophies, not only three, we have got almost about 7 different type of philosophies. If we take Advaita, Shuddha Advaita, and that Nimbarkas is also there, Advaita, Advaita, all those things are there. And if you take how the same scripture and how they are giving to different interpretation and the construct of the philosophies the respective acharyas have brought about. So in this context only, See, the three meanings are there. All each acharya has gone through, and they have also gone through the thought process at that point of time. And every time the thought process has been developed, even those who have written, even before them, they have gone through what they have interpreted and how they have to see. And they have also asked the pertinent question as to what is life, who we are, and why we have come. These are all the basic questions. And is there a God? If there is a God, if he is all powerful, what does he look like? And how we are connected to the Lord, and how we are interconnected to the world, Prakriti, the Lord, and ourselves, as well as the other beings in this world. These are all the questions, highest question that has been thought about. It is beyond the mundane life, like eating, drinking, sleeping, all these three things which is going on. Even that has been taken into account. Our greatest Upanishad, Chandokya Upanishad, which we have seen, even eating and sleeping and dreaming, everything has been taken to and interpreted how you are being controlled, how you are being refined every day, and how you can attain the highest possible. See, one of the words that will be coming about, what is this entire interpretation of it? See, Brahma Param, because once you are then Vedit Brahma Param, in the sense, once you know the God, the man can reach the highest. What is that highest? That is what everyone has to look into. What is the highest? It is in terms of material, possessions, or it is in terms of, living a life, fulfilled life, or going beyond that and seeing, what is that there for this particular life to be spent, how you have to look at the whole beings around you as well as into the world. That's how, these are all the philosophical questions. Normally, in the mundane life, one doesn't get an opportunity or think about it, because you are working, you are just worried about your day-to-day life. You're worried about in your day-to-day living, because the life is not a easy journey, because life is not a bed of roses. You will have to sort of every day, wade through the different problems that is being posed about in different circumstances, because all these acharyas have come in different times. The Shankaracharya has come somewhere in 7th and 8th century, and Ramanujacharya has come in 9th and 10th century, and Madhvacharya has come in the 12th to 13th century. Likewise, they have all come in different point of time, and the different point of time, the India being a country, because where being other influences have been able to come, because we were open about it and we were not bothered. No one has tried to protect, or proselytize our religion, which was not required, because it is going to the highest knowledge. Once the highest knowledge is there, others will come. Most of the people have come just out of inquisity to know how these people are living happily, self-content, and they had no problem whatsoever. In fact, before all these invasions and all, the India was a country of peace. There was nothing to be worried. Everyone was up to his own, what he has to do, and they understood how they have to live the life. So that is how it attracted a lot of people. Even who came for merchandise, they all came about. In this context, one, how the bhashyas have been written, when we have got three meanings and all. When you ask a relevant question, it gives the relevant answer. If you ask some different question, it gives a different answer. That's why, the Advaita has come when the question has been asked, is there any something, is there, everything is same, when the question has been asked, that is no secondment. If there is, everything is a unity, because Jiva Brahma Aikyatvam, that is what, the final port of Advaita. When it is asked, it gave the answers for that. In Vishishtadvaita, that is, the non-difference. When it was asked, because there is no difference, no secondment, that answer gave. When the Vishishtadvaita, then that Acharya was going through the scripture, he was asking, it cannot be a non-difference, because after all, there is a power, the power has to be different from the creator, and created should be different. When non-differential different, is there anything and all, then Veda and scriptures gave the different and the answers what they asked for. It is like a buffing. Whatever you ask for, it gave the answers to that. And when Acharya like Madhvacharya came, and there should be a difference. How can there be a difference? Two can never become one, and one can never become two. Because that is the logic in those days which was being proposed. When it is asked, they also got these answers for that. Likewise, other philosophies got the answers for that. That's why we have got so many bhashyas. With these things in mind, how, because for that, how is a Bhashya, what Bhashya is really, how it is being considered to be very, very vital and important part of the entire the scriptures. There is one particular verse by Shankaracharya, it beautifully explains. Sutrartha varnayate yata. Sutrartha varnayate yata, because when it is able to give three meanings, Sutrartha varnayate yata, you go through all the meanings that is coming out of that. Padehi sutraru saribhihe. Padehi, every word. Padehi sutraru, so saribhihi, the entire essence of each word. You also get, because based on this interpretation, it also gives different meanings and different port. It gives the continuity of thought based on this word, Padehi. Padacheda, we got it. Whenever we see anything, we go by each word, how it denotes, in what context it has been used, how it has come. Sutrarnu varnayate yata padehi sutrarnu saribhihi swapadani cha varnayate bhashyam bhashya vido vibhuhu. That's what it is. Because sutra, when we say swapadani, because when you get all the meanings, you go on finding out, which one will be more appropriate, eliminating. There will be 100 meanings. Sometimes, 50 meanings will also be given. Eliminate whatever the one finally comes. You try to find, yes, this is the one, and try to give your interpretation. For that one, what remains. So, writing a Bhashya is not a very simple affair. So it has to, so much of thought has to go about. It's not that, you take a scripture and immediately write, overnight and create a Bhashya. So when the Bhashyas have been written by great Acharyas, why they have been regarded as the greatest Acharya, Jagat Gurus, everyone is called Jagat Guru. Of course, the final Jagat Guru is Krishna. Krishnam Mande Jagat Guru, he is the one. But they are showing us the final power, the Krishna. So they are Jagat Guru to us. Likewise, they are like that. It's because when they are called Jagat Guru, what is that meaning? Because there are a lot of pandits are there who may be knowing entire scriptural knowledge and who knows everything. They might have also written some sort of a exegesis, like the Bhashyas and Bhashyas, they might have been done and also. But why these great Acharyas are regarded as Jagat Guru and all? They are the one gave the philosophical construct to the entire thing, brought how a way of life could be led by following the tenets of the entire scriptures. That is why, they are called Pujaniyaha, Acharyaha Pujaniyaha, Panditaha Mahaniyaha. All Pandits are to be revered, but the Acharyas they are the one who has given a different philosophical construct. That is how, so many interpretation structures have come. They are the one who has to be worshipped. Finally, they are showing us the Jagat Guru. In fact, there was one incident, it happened, I think, sometime in Varanasi. I think our Kanchi Perival had gone to Varanasi, and there, they normally, when it is being, he's being received and welcomed and all with Purna Kumbham and all, Jagat Guru he was called. I think some people objected, because Varanasi is people of all Sanskrit scholars and they know what is Jagat Guru, this and that and all. He said, because Mahaprabhu said, no one can be a Jagat Guru. Krishnam Mande Jagat Guru. He is the only Guru. We are all, people think through us, they are able to understand. They may be calling us, but even if they call us, finally it has to go to him only. We are just a means by which they are able to see. See, this is exactly the appropriate meaning. When the great Acharyas are called Jagat Guru, they are showing us the Jagat Guru. And in fact, everyone is not called Jagat Guru, because Jagat Guru is for that, you need a particular ability to show what it is, and you have to live the life. See, the living the life through what is being said, that is very important. In fact, this Upanishad exactly exemplifies how it is not only what you are going to say and what you are going to listen, but how you are going to live the life. This is exactly this particular Upanishad. So during this period, one of the two acharyas whom I will just briefly refer to and all, we recently had their Aradhana. Aradhana is their Jayanti, the day they are born, that was being celebrated. One is the two acharyas of 14th and 15th century. One is Vyasatirtha and another is Vadiraja, and the two great saints, and they are from Karnataka, and they also belong to the Dvaita stream and all. The Vyasatirtha is the one who has written Krishnani Begane Baro. I think that is easily people can understood. Is the Raga Yamuna Kalyani, very famous this one. He has written about 21 sort of songs, of which the most famous is the Krishnani Begane Baro. He is one who was in the empire of Krishnadevaraya. Krishnadevaraya had two great gurus in his the dynasty. Two great gurus. So one is Vidyaranya. Vidyaranya was supposed to be the pontiff of Sringeri, and he was also once advising. He was a Kulaguru to that clan, and Vadiraja Vyasatirtha was also one of the Kulaguru for that. Because during Krishnadevaraya's period, he was a very, very saintly person. During his period, only all this Tirupati temple and all, everything was developed and all. So when he had a particular occasion, there was a drought, there were a lot of things were happening. And because of the conjecture of all the planets based on his astrology, it was said, he has got something called Kuha Yoga. Kuha Yoga in the sense, perhaps his life is in danger. That's what it happened at a particular period. So Vyasatirtha, he said, don't worry about that. And I think, because during that period, I will take care of it. So he adorned the throne for about some period of this Kusha Yoga was there. So when Kusha Yoga was there, it so happened when the throne was empty, when he has to go, there was, it came in the form of a snake. The very, very sort of a mystical snake, it came, and he was just, through his, the cloth, the kavi cloth, what he had, just threw it on that, and the entire cloth and the snake, they all burnt into ashes. So it happened, and he did all the sort of a parihara, and after some period, he asked Krishnadevaraya to take back his kingdom. So that's what they have guided in those. So he was totally in gratitude, and he asked him to do, because you don't have to give me, because I will be your regent, I will rule it, and you be there and all. He said, and I am a sannyasi, and as we have discussed in the week before last, a sannyasi has to give up everything. He has to give up Om, Bu, Buvaha, Suvaha. When we said all the three, whatever is there, you should not be expecting anything this life, the other life, and in heaven also. That is why, that is how you become a sannyasi. Sannyasi is not something. I think you become a sannyasi, next, you become a crorepati and all, doesn't happen. They give up. They give up everything, so they want to get out of this cycle of birth and death. That's what it happens. This happened to this particular thing, and that's how he became, and he composed all those things. He's not only a sort of he has written is a dialectic, the entire scriptures, the logic, as well as you will have to use the etymology, to bring propound your philosophy and all. There is one famous magnum opus on Indian philosophy by Surendranath Dasgupta, 5 great volumes. He was a professor in Calcutta and later professor in Cambridge. He has compiled the volume well before independence and all, 5 great volumes. I think even despite the failing health, he and his wife is also a doctorate, and she's also a very famous professor. They have written and they have analyzed all the philosophies that has come about this Indian continent, subcontinent. And there, he has he has taken so many acharyas and so many people who have propounded the philosophy and all. He has considered Vyasatirtha one of the foremost in the dialectic exponent of the Indian philosophical thought. He is of that. Not only that, he wanted to understand the other philosophies. He went to Kanchipuram and stayed for 6 years. He understood all the nuances of Advaita and Visishtadvaita. Then he wrote something called Dexography. Dexography in the sense what the Advaita says, what Visishtadvaita says, and what is the Dvaita propounds, everything. He made a comparative compendium, and then he was trying to give, what are all the things, how the questions will arise, how it can be answered and all. See, we have to see one thing here, how philosophical thought have been taken so seriously, so that they have gone about, they wanted to find, going on refining it, finally, get into the ultimate truth. See, ultimate truth may not be available even after 1,000 years. It may be available, but the process of thinking process, the thought process of Indian, all great gurus and rishis is unparalleled. So in fact, he was teaching Advaita to the people, who were in the Advaita stream. He was teaching Visishtadvaita to those who were in the Visishtadvaita stream. And he had his own disciples, following Dvaita stream and all. He had disciples of all the streams. In fact, his biography has been written by one Advaita scholar who was his one of the disciples, Somanath Kavi. He has written his biography. So that is how they have seen the overall thought process and how best it is to be developed and all. And this in those days, debates and discussions were a continuous process of intellectual development, as well as to get into the, because our Indian Sanatana Dharma, Brahma Sutram and all these things, you can go on analyzing it to the hilt, still you may not be able to find the final answer. It all depends upon the time at that particular period of time, how the life was there, how the things were there. The same thing if it is done in the present scenario, perhaps we may not be able to go to that level of thinking, because our attention span is very less. It is coming down. In those days, they were doing it, all the Shankara and Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, and Shankaracharya in 32 years he has lived. But what a great, because exposition he has written on all this, because that is a thought process. They have totally devoted to the whole thing. That type of attention and that type of sort of internal thought process will not be available presently, because we do lack the willingness as well as the ability to do it. Their ability is far too great to be admired. So this is one of his the Vyasatirtha, and so is one Vadiraja. Vadiraja is also one of the exponent of his time in 16th century. He's written all the Bhashyas on Upanishad. On whatever Madhvacharya has written the Bhashya, on that the Vadiraja has also written something called a Prakashika. It is exposition of the Bhashya, because Madhvacharya wrote terse, and it is very difficult to decipher. He has written it like that, and he has given a Bhashya. Like Raghavendra Swami and Vadiraja, they have given the Bhashyas on that to enable us to understand the Bhashyas of the Madhvacharya. Likewise, like Ranga Ramanujam in Visishtadvaita stream also has written. And this Vadiraja is considered to be one of the most great literary person. And he has, in Sanskrit literature, some of us might have heard, this is only for information. We might have heard about the great literature. One of the literature considered to be sort of one of the 5 classical literature is Sishupalavadam. There is one great scripture in Sanskrit. It was written by one Magabhatta. Magade we call him. He is the one who has written. It is considered to be the stanzas are so exquisite and literary beauty is far too great. And not only that, the interpretation, the jugglery of the words is unparalleled in any language that was written. That the Maga has written that particular, the Sishupalavada. Similar to Sishupalavada, in fact, on the same topic with a different perspective, the Vadiraja has written something called Rukmanisha Vijaya. So it was also considered to be, it is also about 19 chapters of 1641 verses. It is also considered to be a literary classic. In fact, he has moved around all the places. He has gone to Tulsa Bhavani. Tulsa Bhavani is the place, where Shivaji had his, because it's a deity he used to worship. He has gone there, and it was at the time, it had all the drought and all. He has gone there, and he has, with his tapas, he was able to bring the rain there and all. So then he has composed a very famous poem called, the Dasavatara Stuti. The Dasavatara Stuti is on all the Dasavatara of Mahavishnu. By virtue of it, he could get the rain as well as, the crop was there and all. There's a big story, I think that is there and all. That is a very exquisite, because likewise that is there. So these two acharyas has, their birth Jayanti was there. They are also the one who are associated with this, all these Bhashyas. And likewise, there are so many other Bhashyas, because like Madhusudana Saraswati in Varanasi, his Advaita stream. He was also, I think, his celebration was also recently there. With all these great acharyas having come into the limelight and given us the best, we are also taking the benefit of it, and we are going about. Just for the purpose of recap, because since last week, though we have seen, just to give a continuity, this entire story of Nachiketa, the story of Nachiketa is his father he started performing one yajna. Yajna is the Vishwajit Yajna. This is called Vishwajit Yajna. This is to do at the when you got everything, completed all your assignments in the world, when you are everything is through and you want to give everything, whatever you physically possess to everyone around. Whatever you have, you will not be left. Everything to the hilt you will give it. Why you are giving it? By doing that, you will be attaining the highest possible, that is Swarga. So what is this Swarga? What is it about? This is what the first mantra says. We just will recite just for the purpose of recap only. Om Ushanhavai Vajashravashaha Sarvavedasam Dadau. It is in the page 10, 1.1. I am just reciting it for recap. Tasyaha Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa. The simple thing is, he has performed a yajna which is called Vishwajit. It has to be inferred. It is not said in the Upanishad. Upanishad is always terse. It gives only the context. It is based on the bhashyas, the understanding of the Vedanta, in the respective portion of the Veda. It has come in something called Taittiriya Brahmana in Krishna Yajurveda. And it has got three versions. One is in Mahabharata, one version is there. In Krishna Yajurveda itself, one version is there. There is Kataka Samhita, one Samhita is there. That is why it is called Kathopanishad. Though it is called Kathopanishad, it is called Kathopanishad. So this is the Samhita, it is there, and it is also there sometime in Rig Veda also. All the three have different versions, and it all have been taken together based on the interpretations, and we are going to see that and all. When we attend one Ushanhai Vajashravasaka, we explain what is Vajashravasaka. Vajashravasaka is his father was performing, Nachiketa's father was performing. He is not Vajashravasaka. Vajashravasaka in the sense, he is the son of, grandson of Vajashravasaka. Vajashravasaka in the sense, Vaja is the called food, Anna. See, the Anna, the one who has done Annadana, who has done all charities, great charities, he is Vaja. Shravas is Kirti. Kirti in the sense fame. So Vajashravasaka. Vajashravasaka is the one he has come in the lineage, his grandfather, his father's grandfather. He was so well known. Vajashravasaka is so well known because for his charity and all. And not only that, Vaja also refers to the Veda. He is such a Vedic, highly accomplished Vedic Pandit. He was able to disseminate the knowledge of Veda to others. That is why he is called. He was able to give the charity and he was able to give a Vidyadhanam. The Vidyadhanam is the highest dhanam. So he was able to give Vajashravasaka, Sarva Vedasam Tatau. So Sarva Vedasam Tatau, the Veda is the knowledge. Sarva Vedasam is whatever you are getting out of the Vedic knowledge, whatever you possess, you just give it, Dadau, the Tasyaha Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa. He has got a son called Nachiketa. There only we discussed what is Putra in this. Putra is then why a person is called Putra. In the sense, Put is the sort of a hell. To prevent your parents to go from hell, you are the one who can prevent the Putra. The one who prevents his parents to go to the hell is Putra. Punma, no, that is what Naragati, that is his Putra. That is what the definition is there. That is why Putra is being used. They have not used any other word because you have to do. And the Nachiketa is an introvert. See, and the Vajashravasaka's grandson, his name has not been given. It is been referred as Gautama in most of the cases. But it is considered to be the Gotra of Vajashravasaka. Gautama Gotra and Gotra is there. In fact, Raghavendra Swami also belongs to that Gautama Gotra. A lot of seers belong to that Gautama Gotra. But his name is Uddhalaka. Though this Upanishad doesn't say, it talks about only Nachiketa. There is one more Upanishad we have last week referred to. It is Chandokya Upanishad. In Chandokya Upanishad, this Uddhalaka is a great seer, is a scholar, and in fact he has been referred to in very many places in Upanishad and Puranas as well as in the Vedas. He was performing and he is such a knowledgeable person. He is coming from such a high lineage. But what was he doing? This fellow is an introvert. His son, he will not talk much. If he is asked to come, he will come under Nachiketa. He is just about 7 to 8 years old. Nachiketa, in a sense, he will not be talking about Nakinchitketa because he will not be able to respond to anything and he will be silent. And people used to think him is a dad. If you tell him something, he will do it. Otherwise, he will not. Because likewise, we have got three sons. One fellow is extrovert. He will talk even before he being asked. Because he had a son called Svetaketu, which is not coming in this Upanishad. It is coming in Chandokya Upanishad. We will see that Svetaketu is extrovert. So he considered him to be very intelligent. He has sent him to Adhyayana for 12 years of Vedic Adhyayana and all. This fellow was introvert. He didn't bother. He is 78 years old. But he's very, very person. He will be thinking about himself and what is the right thing. He is continuous. He is something like a Prahlada. But he will not be expressing. He is a very silent. So normally the parents, are very enamored of the boy, who comes and answers, who in front of everyone, he comes and shows off. He will be more pampered, the one who doesn't do, and he was a mum face. He will be a dad and dullard, that's how he will be discovered. That's how Nachiketa was considered. Then he goes again, how this Upanishad takes to the highest level we will see. The next mantra is nothing but, that is coming. Tam ha kumaram in the same page number 10 in 112 is there. Tam ha kumaram santam dakshinasu niyamanasu shraddha vivesha somanyataha. See, when he is an introvert, he is thinking about his father is giving finally the dakshina. The yajna fire is still on. He has to give everything, whatever he has to give. When he is dakshinasu niyamanasu shraddha vivesha. See, is he doing as per what is required to be done? This filial anxiety was there. See, my father should not get the wrong fruits of because he is working for a fruit. He should get what he desires. He should not be getting something otherwise. That filial anxiety and because concern was there. He's an authority by concern. Your mother is having a concern, authority by concern. Not by anything else, because she doesn't expect anything from the sibling, the sons or daughters. She is exercising authority because the concern is the authority through which she is there. That is how they are able to get the sort of the affection or love, as the case may be, and all. So here it is because of the filial anxiety and affection, he is worried my father should not be getting into the wrong thing because he is doing such a thing and he has come in such a lineage. That's why Vajrashravasaka, when the Upanishad says, it's not an ordinary person he has done. Uddalaka is also very accomplished. So here we will just give a small note here. The Vajrashravasaka, in those days, this Vajrashravasaka, he had a son. His name is not very well, explained anywhere in the Upanishad. His son's wife, Arunya they call it, Aruna, she was a great saint. She was a rishi. And Uddalaka is the son of Arunya. In fact, somewhere else we will say Uddalaka, Aruni, one word will be there. So whoever is very prominent in terms of knowledge, their name will be referred. If the husband and wife, if the husband is, well known, it is, he will be referred. But if husband doesn't, it's okay, he has also done. Okay, he is also passed by, and the wife has written, she will be well known. The Aruni is very, very well known. Arunya. She's got Aruna. She was called Aruna. And the Uddalaka is the son of that Aruna. In somewhere else we will see Uddalaka Aruni, because he is known by his mothers, because if you go to Kerala, most of them use the maternal surname. Marmaka time it is there, because not in the other parts, they use the maternal surname, for most of them they are using it. The likewise, because it is like that in those days it was there. In fact, Uddalaka not only had these two sons, he had a daughter called Sujata. She is also a very, very highly learned, and she in fact was learning under the ashrama of his grandmother, the Aruna. She had a great ashrama. She was there. And she has learnt, and finally his grandmother got her married to one of her students, Kahoda. He is also a student. He was he was also learning like anyone and all. But this Sujata was outstanding. Finally, when she got both of them married, when she was in the family way, and this Kahoda, he was good, but he was not good enough. But he was reciting some Vedas with the wrong intonations, the wrong spellings, the wrong things. When it was happening, the child in the womb of Sujata, because she is a great, she has come in the line of Vajashravasa, his grandmother is Aruna, in her ashram she is the daughter of Uddalaka. Uddalaka also is well read and all. This womb, the child corrected the father. What you are telling is not correct. From the womb, like Prahalada, it did. So it did, he got wild. He cursed, and you will be having 8 type of deformities. Ashta. That child is called Ashtavarga. We will be we possibly must have heard about Ashtavarka Gita. Ashtavarka Gita is considered to be one of the highest scriptures. It has got a lot of Advaita philosophy into that. That Ashtavarka is the daughter, son of this Sujata, who in turn is the daughter of this Uddalaka. It is just for the purpose of information. Here only we are concerned about Nachiketa. Just to know what is the lineage they are having. What is the type of the activity they are supposed to be doing. So they are not supposed to be doing something mean. This is exactly in the Upanishad gives all the preamble to know when he is that, what is he really doing. It is then the mantra number 3 when it comes. Pitotaga Jagatrana Duktadoha, it is page number 11. Duktadoha Nirindriyaha. So normally in those days the wealth is nothing but cattle. The cattle is considered to be the wealth, cows. The Pashuman Bhavati, when we say, all those Mangalasana and all, when we say in the Shanti mantras, Pasuman is the one who has having wealth is only Pasu. Pasu in those days is, it used to graze. For that, you don't need any caste. It has to go and graze. It will give you the milk. So you will have to do the pujas and as well as your yajnas right from morning to evening it gives. And evening it comes. And there is a procedure by which you send the cow to the forest for grazing, and once you come, you receive it and all those things, you milk it. At the same time, since the calf will be taking the milk and you will be milking it, for your purpose, there is one parihara mantra is also there. The calf, whatever it is required, it will have to take. Then only you should take the milk. All those things are there. With this type of environment, how he should be doing is, he was just offering all the cows, which doesn't have energy to take even a drop of water, which has lost energy to even munch the straw, which is not able to take anything. And they are all barren. Almost they are a burden. It is not, something could be, one could take it as a dana and all. Such a thing he was giving. Dutta doha, it can't give any milk. Nirindriyaha, it is barren. Ananda namate loka stan sa gacchati tatat. See, Anandan namate loka tanse gacchati tata tanse gacchati ta tadat. In the sense, if you are doing that, you will only go to hell. You are not doing any right thing. You have come in a great lineage, but you are not doing, you are giving, like whatever we are doing for dana. You go and ask any shop that we discussed last week in great detail. They know if it is for dana, they will give you particular type of thing. If it is for you, personal use, they will give you a particular type of thing. Because it's a hypocrisy we have got into it. If you are giving a dana, if you are really intended to give a dana, you do whatever is required to be done. You don't have to give a sort of a make-believe just to show, you are giving dana and all. This is exactly, this Upanishad brings about to have the integrity of what you are doing, integrity of your intention and action. This is exactly the Upanishad brings about. Once this integrity is enshrined, then I think, because then only, you will be able to go to the height of, the entire being for which you have come into this world. If that integrity is lost, I think you will only be make believe, and you will have to sort of, living a life like anything. He was just regurgitating in his mind. Is it correct? It's not that he didn't have good cows and all. He had all good cows. So you have all the properties, you write it down in the favor of your children, your wife, and whatever is radhi that is left out, you give it as a dana. That is normally, because one could see in the normal way of things, because some exemplary people are there who do it, what they mean it. So this is exactly, it shows, don't have a make-believe life, a life which is worth living for. That is what this Upanishad takes. And this is exactly is being taken to the highest level in the Bhagavad-Gita. We said Bhagavad-Gita and the Kathopanishad, they have got interconnected with each other. How it is interconnected, we will see in the forthcoming ones. Last mantra we saw last week was 1.1.4. Sahovacha pitaram tata kasmai mam dasyasi. Dasyasiti, because he was not able to hold it. He was a introvert. He was not expressing. Despite that, he asked his father, I am also your possession. I am also your belonging. The yajna fire is still on. Whom are you going to give? In a sense, you also have to give whatever you belong. I am also yours, and I will go and serve whoever you are giving. That is my, bounden duty. I will do that so that you get the benefit of this yajna. This is what the son intended to ask. So he was a 7-8-year-old boy. Kumaram, we said Kumaram, is just innocent, just about the going, and he thought it's a boyish he is asking. But he repeated the question Dvitiyam, second time, Tritiyam, third time. Tam hovacha. When he said it, father got irritated. Then he said, Mrityave tva dadamiti, I will give you to death. Like get last. Thought me jao, when we say like that, it has been said like that, it has been given. It is a sort of a curse. Here, one thing that comes about it is when the curse is given, he has taken it, to the full hilt. He said, once my father has said he is going to give it to me, I will have to abide by that. I don't want my father to be suffering, because prana jaye par vachan na jaye. That's what Ramcharitmanas says. It is like that. I have come in the lineage of Vajashravas. Why should I do that? Let me do that. Let me say whatever he has said, I will abide by that. I don't have any fear whatsoever. See, if he is going to give me death, what is that? Why he wants to give me to death? And he was also asking, next mantra will say, because he is soliloquy, he is all thinking about this in his mind. He is not expressing, he is an introvert. He is so concerned, his concern for father and for the benefit of what he is doing is the foremost, utmost. He doesn't bother about himself. And he also knows, because what about that 3 times when he has asked 3 times, mainly because you have to submit yourself to the entire world by physically and consciously, subconsciously and unconsciously, all the 3. And you have to give the physical world, astral world, and the heavenly benefit. All the 3, you will have to give it up. That's why 3 times he asked the question. When he does 3 times ask the questions, he is prepared for that. He prepared to forego anything in this physical life, even the astral life and the heavenly life. He is not bothered about the outcome. He is just bothered his father should not get any bad name. He should be warded off from the evil that may be coming about because the type of dana what he has done. All good for nothing cows he is giving to everyone. Let it not happen. And with this, we have we have come into the last week. Now we are coming to the 5th mantra in page number 12. Bahunamemi, it is 1.1.5. Bahunamemi pratamo, bahunamemi madhyamaha, kim sviddamasya kartavyam, kim svidyamasya kartavyam, yanyam adya karishyati. This entire mantra says, bahunamemi pratam. A lot of people have faced death. Father said, Padme Java, I am giving it to Mrityu. He said, okay, I will go. I don't have any problem at all. And what he really meant was, when you have to give the surrender, you have to give the surrender with all the 3, because your physical possession and your astral possession and heavenly, without any expectations, you will have to offer. So when you go into that level, it is not, when you don't have any concern about the physicality, you get into fully into the spirituality. It is not exactly literally, it is a sort of a simile. It is sort of a, you go out of your body and you get into the highest, you get the oneness with your spirit. You understand, you become one with the cosmic. So that is exactly, that understanding is there. So when he said, before me, so many people have died because my grandfather and all have died. But what they have died, they have all died, they have given up that. Died in the sense it's a change of form. So this entire eschatology, because this entire Upanishad explains what is the life after death. What we mean as a death is nothing but a change of form. When we were child and we became a youth and then we became a middle-aged and then we became a old age. We have all changed. But each time when change has come, we have never regretted. We have taken it in the way it should be. We have extolled it. We have taken whatever it has offered. The final cessation of the body is also nothing but a change of form. So therefore, nothing to be, because you don't have to, you will have to get into the highest level, because it is just being, it is ignorance that makes us to worry on that. This is exactly this eschatology it brings about. And the questions may be asked, Bahuna, that is what he is internally telling. Before me, so many people have done. Why they have done? But till the time, they were having this body, they have lived for the truth, they lived by their word. They did everything, whatever they ought to do as per the bounden duty that has been assigned to them. So therefore, what is it telling? I am bound by, I will be determined, I will do that. I will live by the word. Whatever even my father has said to me in anger, I will just have it fulfilled and I will go to I will leave this body and go. This is what he says. And Bahunamepi Madhyaha Pratamo, but I will be the first, because before me so many have gone. And Bahunamepi Madhyamaha, even at the same time, so many people may be going also, leaving their body. And so many people will be living after us also. That will also be there. That's what he says. Internally he thinks. Kims with Yamasya. By giving me, Yama doesn't have any requirement. He is called, because Dharmaraja. In fact, Yama has the incarnation of Vidura. Yama is considered to be the highest in Dharma. He is the first one to have gone to the Pitraloka to administer that. And he is the one meticulously following the dharmic principles and keeping the entire world in the tight rope of dharmic principles with which the beings are being dealt with. So the Yama is considered to be very highest in Sanatana Dharma. In fact, on account of one curse, Yama was supposed to be born in Dwapara Yuga as Vidura. When we had to come to Dwapara Yuga as Vidura, it is not that he left the Yamaloka and Pitraloka and he came as Vidura. And he was there, but his sort of Amsa was there in the Vidura. That is why Vidura Nidhi we will be talking about all the dharmic principles. In fact, the highest principles enshrined in Dharma Shastra we can see in Vidura Nidhi. He also came as a Vidura in the later, the Dwapara Yuga. So he is such a person and he doesn't have any need. He is beyond all the wants and all. He doesn't have to fulfill anything and all. And he is the one who is keeping up the upright and principles, and he is the one still being revered by all the devas as well as the entire mankind. He doesn't need anything, by sending me, he's not going to get, because he doesn't need my services, nor am I going to give anything fulfilling to him. Why he is telling me? Just solilaki, he was thinking in his mind as it is. Svidamasya kartavyam yanyam adya karishyati. So by now going to me, since it is not going to help, but anyway he has given it, I will not be worried about it. And when he has given the words, yajna fires are still burning. So yajna fires are still burning. During the burning of yajna, if you offer any ahuti or any word you are offering, that is deemed to be done. You have to do that. This is exactly, he said he is determined. And he was telling about and how, others are, and he also doesn't want to be the last. The another meaning of Bahunamami Pratamo in the sense, there may be so many people who will be obliging their father. They are called Uttama. The one who is somewhat following, the father's advice is called Madhyama. The one who doesn't follow his father's and called an Adama. I will not be Adama, I will not be fourth grade, third grade anyway. I will be either the one who follows the father's words immediately, though I may not be extrovert explaining it. I will at least be, because the somewhat following, or it's not somewhat following, I will be totally following. I am determined. So when he has told me you go to, I am giving you to Yama, I will go to the Yama. So here the question will arise, because that is this question normally will arise how, he could go to, a person go to Yama and his father has suffered. So in those days we may say they had the powers if they say something will happen and all. Absolutely, because all these things perhaps, can be interpreted with the mystical way and all. The purport of the entire thing is when you are when you are having the body, when you are having the bodily affection, as long as you have the bodily affection or I and me, you are, I think, already dying so many deaths because you are not able to go out of the bondage. This is exactly, because that's coming about. That is, you have to give, and I and me, we'll have to give it up. That's what we said. We saw it in the Chandokya Upanishad also. This Upanishad emphasizes it differently when we are talking about life after death. What is the bliss after the death is when you are giving up I and me. And even while alive, if you are giving up at I and me, that is what, Jivan Mukti, what they say. Even when you are alive, you almost got the bliss, which otherwise you could have envisaged, after leaving the body. This is exactly, because there's a lot of debates going on and, Jivan Mukti is possible or not possible. I think this is the philosophical, we will not go into that. Here it says simply, this is, he has determined to go about and leave the body. The question will arise, because how we could leave the body. I will just bring about, one recent example. I thought, it will help, because to understand that and all. In 2015, there was a movie which came. It got the Oscar award also. I think some of us maybe might have had an occasion to see or know about it. The Revenant, one movie was there. The Revenant in English meaning is the one who was supposed to, one who was thought to be died, finally he comes back alive. That Revenant movie is, he's a hunter. He's a hunter grass, his name, in fact. The Leonardo DiCaprio, he got the Oscar for that. He goes for hunting, in the Amazon forest in those, early times. Finally, there were a lot of bears. Amazon has got full of bears and other animals. They keep attacking. In the attack, he is supposed to have been died. Those who are gone with him, they have all come back. He has not come back. The entire village thinks, he has died. He has died. He is no more. He's not there at all. But after several days, because with his power of endurance, he manages to come back. Because that is called revenant. The revenant is one who comes back after that. It is something similar to that. Because when it happens, he gives philosophically, when he gives I and me, then you have got the highest bliss which you have got even after ceasing the body. That you may be able to, that is Jivan Mukti, as they say, if you are able to experience that, that is the bliss we will be supposed to be getting it as per the discussions. A lot of controversies and discussions are there. This is it. But here the question normally for human mind, see, suddenly his father has said, go to Yama, I am giving it to Yama, he has gone to Yama. How is it possible and all? It is just possible because I think there is a very famous, we will all be knowing this particular Doha of Kabir Doha that talks about हम जब पैदा हुए हम रोए लोग हंसे कबीरा हम सब पैदा हुए हम रोए लोग हंसे. When you are waiting in the delivery room, when you hear the cries of the baby, all of us are happy. Because yes, there is a child which is born and it's crying. A new being has come into. That's what Kabir says, Kabirdas says. Kabira, जब हम पैदा हुए हम रोए लोग हंसे, because others are all happy, but I was weeping. So, ऐसे करनी कर चलो, हम हंसे लोग रोए. Whatever you do it in this world, and you go, you don't have any regret. You have done whatever it is that. When you do that, you are smiling, others are in the they are all crying. This is what he says. It is like because how the human beings take it, the birth and death, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, how it is being treated. That is what it is said. So likewise, what you are getting into the spiritual enlightenment is just as good as leaving the body. When you are taking to the highest level, when you are able to see I and me is being eliminated. When we talk about Bhagavad-Gita, what is the first mantra of Bhagavad-Gita? What is the purpose of the Bhagavad-Gita? Bhagavad-Gita was virtually being, because it is just what Sanjaya has seen with his power of the eyes given by Vyasa, Jnana Drishti. He was able to narrate everything, whatever is happening in the battlefield. And in that process, the Krishna has given the highest essence of the entire knowledge, which is nowhere available. He has given it. That's how it's Bhagavad Gita. But what is the first mantra says? Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samavedam yutsavaha mamakam pandavascheva kim kurvati Sanjaya is asking. See, Dharma kshetre Kurukshetra, that is, where Dharma Kshetra, because so many people have done tapas, so many people have done great things, because it is a place where a lot of yajnas, yagas have taken place, a lot of great things have happened. The best position of best action of any human being has done. That is a Dharma Kshetra. It is a Kurukshetra. In Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, Samavesam, Yugastva, because everyone is assembled there. Mamakam Pandavas chain. See, he is the sort of the highest head of the Kuru. Instead of asking how our boys are working, he said, Mamakam, how my pupil. He is talking only about his son. The Mamakara is there. This entire first mantra says you have to give up the Mamakara. This entire Bhagavad Gita goes on, that 800 verses are going to explain you how you will have to give up that Mamakara. That first thing, the first verse itself denotes what has to be taken out. Mamakara. Mamaka Pandavas Cheva Kim Kurvati Sanjay. What they are doing it. My people and the Pandavas, his own brother's son. In fact, because he got, because he got it, mainly because, it is Bhishma Pitama, he said, the boys are young, you have to be taking care of that. That's how he has become Dhritarashtra. Despite that, he got it as a gratis, even though he is blind, though he is not entitled to be a king. He was given the kingdom because these boys were still young, they will have to come of age, and they are the one who has legal heir because their father was the king. But in this, he is asking Mamaka because he doesn't have a broad heart to consider his brother's children as his children. The Mamakara was there. It has to be taken out. That's how, it is the entire thing, it says. So therefore, with this into account, this entire when going out into the yamas, this one as well as how you are doing it is a symbolic and as well as a spiritual thing. At the same time, there is the Taittiriya Brahmana which says, as well as in the Mahabharata Anusashana Parva when it says, what it says, because we will be seeing it all happens within a span of few hours, because when it happens in the revenant, because like the Nachiketa, he goes to Yama's place. Subsequently, we'll be seeing he will also be coming back. Suppose if he once goes into the Yama's place, if you do the samskara of the body, he doesn't have any body to come back. So it all said, it is in a small span of, because few hours, less than few galikas, the naligai, what they say, it takes place. That is how it has been explained in Anushashana Parva. And Chinmayananda says it is stupid to ask a question how he goes to Yama's place and all. He says he goes in the sense that he is the student of knowledge. He wants to get the highest knowledge. The possessor of knowledge who is going to give the knowledge is Yama. So when a student of knowledge is so thirsty for the knowledge, he goes by any means, even by giving up his body. That is the understanding. That is how he goes. It is basically towards the highest knowledge. Like Bhagavad-Gita takes us to the highest knowledge, and the first verse talks about the Mamakara, which has to be renewed. The same thing, Kathopanishad corresponds what is happening into Bhagavad-Gita and to this, to give away our eye and mind, as well as to get the highest knowledge, what is possible, and as well as to be truthful to whoever we have been in this world, to whom we have served in this world, from whom we have got the benefits, and express our gratitude. That has been brought about in spite of all these things, his regurgitations, his soliloquy, when he is agitated in his mind, how am I to get all those things? We will see how it progresses beautifully into the fulcrum of human life, going with the karma yoga as well as jnana yoga combined together, how a person can live. And this is going to be the one, which all of us can adopt in our life. The Kathopanishad, as it is being said, is like Gita. It gives you the lesson for everyday life. This is exactly, the bhashas have been written by all the acharyas, they have expounded. With this, I will try to limit myself, because of the recap, we have to take a little time. The next week onwards, we will go by the forthcoming verses, and the forthcoming verses will also have each verse, and we will also try to find in between the ones which are directly be corresponding to the Gita. And we will find in this Kathopanishad, some of the verses have, as it is being taken into the Gita, and taken into the Gita with a little change and all. In fact, last week I was just narrating, when Swamiji was jokingly telling Krishna is, always Chora. He has also taken something from Kathopanishad and he has never disclosed it also. That's what was. So in jokingly he was telling, it is like that. So this great Upanishad is the one, which is revered everywhere, and we will continue our journey. Today I will conclude, with this exposition, and we will also have a small meditation as usual what we are having. Sahanavavatu, Sahanau Punaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahaihi, Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishvidavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We will just go for meditation in a minute.